All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of AEWSpark, the forum that discusses all things all elite wrestling. I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome with me tonight. Further guests might come. We have the analyst, the interviewer, Shane Wells, and of course, one of my good friends here, an AEW enthusiast, fellow member of the Pro Wrestling Discussions Nation, Tim Tobin. First off, Shane, how are you? What was one of your biggest takeaways from last week's episode of AEW Dynamite, which of course was Fight for the Fallen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of my biggest takeaways from last week's episode of Fight for the Fallen, the ending, throwing in the towel. That's that, man. It's been on my mind ever since.
Yeah, and the thing, this was the first time AEW pulled off something like that. In amazement, by the way, with AEW's history, so far, not a single match has ended on a disqualification type finish, which I must admit, I am very impressed with. And we saw the aftermath, not only with the match afterwards, but the Twitter feed between the Machine and his guidance counselor, if nothing else, it seems. And we'll get the follow to that or continuation in this storyline. Maybe the relationship between these two and where it stands tomorrow on Dynamite. Good takeaway. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, you know he's a doctor, right? Pharmacist. Please welcome, of course, the ever so intelligent and on point, Dr. Brad Campbell, PharmD. Dr. Brad, good to see you again, sir. How are you? What was one of your takeaways from last week's episode of AEW Dynamite, Fight for the Fallen?
Well, like Hangman Adam Page would say, just, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
So,
I'm straight edge, of course.
so takeaway from Fight for the Fallen. You really have to kind of tie it in with this past week's episode of Being the Elite. I think we are starting to turn the wheels to introduce the heel singles run of Kenny Omega.
I like that. Yeah, the six-man tag where Kenny Omega, they got the win, but of course, prior to that, he got beer dumped on him, literally beer dumped on him by FTR, and it seemed like he was going to blow a fuse. And then afterwards, he literally attacked Marco Stunt, who, by the way, did not show any humor or criticism towards what's happened to Omega, nor seemed to, josh around with Kenny Omega. Though I think Kenny Omega may have underestimated him. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's teasers of things to come. We'll definitely discuss that more towards the end. Tim, it's been a while, sir. Hope you and your family have been doing well. It's great to have you back on Spark. What's one of your big takeaways from last week's episode of Dynamite Fight for the Fall?
I think it was the tag team match, definitely, with the Lucha Brothers versus the Jungle Express versus the tag team.
Versus FTR. That's what you're referring to.
No, the Elite. No, the Jurassic Express versus the Elite.
Oh, that one. Okay, so similar thoughts about that as well. Yeah, and then we wonder, is Jurassic Express, are they trying to put a bid towards the tag team titles? And I'm sure we'll discuss that a lot more when we talk about this week's episode of Dynamite. So with that, it's great to have you all on board. Let's go ahead and start this discussion. So we have a loaded show this week. AEW Dynamite now, they literally have nothing in between them but the road to AEW All Out. Their supercard, their biggest show of the year, in my opinion. Why some people think it's Double or Nothing, because really that's where the AEW brand started, but I digress. But you think about the moments that happened last year at AEW All Out with the crowning of the inaugural AEW World Heavyweight Champion, the incredible bout with Kenny Omega and Pac, impromptu, I might add, considering plans had to change, the women's division being showcased at their highest at point, and so much more, and also Christina Battle Royale, which likely won't happen, but I'm sure they'll do something conventional with the women this year. We got a lot to think about, as literally this is the first episode after the conclusion of all things Firefest and all things Fight for the Fallen. Boy, was last week surprising. Just to sum it up, we had, of course, 4 matches. We talked about the Elite versus Wrestling Express, the Elite won, Kenny Omega returning. We talked about the TNT title match with John Moxley retained his title against Machine Brian Cage, with Taz throwing in the towel for the sake of the Machine's arm, though the Machine was trying to prove why he is not human. We also had, of course, FTR versus Lucha Brothers, where in the end, FTR proved why they are top guys, not good guys, and they won that match and so much more. And we had a very interesting opener with the TNT title with Sonny Kiss and Cody, where Arn was anything but impressed, and it's going to show this week. With that, let's go ahead and first open with that match. As always, Cody is continuing to try and bring us the biggest, longest, toughest running schedule ever for a professional wrestler, defending the TNT Championship every week in an open challenge. And the only ones that decide and know the opponents at this point is his coach, AA Arn Anderson, and Tony Khan. And this week, it will be a surprise. However, Tony Khan is already teased that this will be a top independent wrestler. Now, we've already heard the name Warhorse being thrown around, and then others are thinking about maybe other names that have shown up in AEW, at least at one point. You think about the Hawaiian Juggernaut, Jeff Cobb. You think about further NWA influences, including but not limited to maybe Matt Cross, for example. Who could show up and challenge Cody for the TNT title? What could be the biggest surprise we can expect on Dynamite? So with that, I'm going to pick each of your brains. I want you to give me your thoughts towards who you think challenging Cody next. And is the pressure getting to Cody? With that being said, I'm going to start with the guy that definitely proved the most to know what's happening in Dynamite. You guessed a number of things last week. After Brad, give me your thoughts on Cody's current state as the TNT champion mentally. I don't know about you, but I think the pressure's finally starting to get to him. And who do you see maybe being his opponent this week on Dynamite for the title?
Well, I think Cody's really established the TNT title as a workers championship, and he's had tremendous matches with a variety of talent on AEW. At the time, he was independent. Ricky Starks coming on board, which is now with the company. It's an interesting time because AEW is doing so well right now. And you got all these different promotions that really aren't doing a whole lot right now. So it's kind of hard to say who could be showing up. But a name that I've heard mentioned, and I've looked into him a little bit, that I think would be a real shocker if he were to walk into Dynamite tomorrow and challenge Cody from NWA, is a guy named Nick Aldis. I think that I just think that would blow the roof off the house, and I think wrestling fans everywhere would just be losing their minds, and the internet would just blow up.
Interesting, considering Nick Aldis did challenge Cody for the gold at NWA 70 and won it back after Cody won the gold against him at AEW All In. You wonder if Nick Aldis does want to add a new piece of gold to his repertoire. The reason, by the way, folks, you hear audio in the background. Someone else's mic wasn't muted during one of the speakers. My apologies. With that being said, audio feedback. What are you going to do? Technical difficulties. Tim, your thoughts on this match. Who do you see potentially challenging Cody for the TNT Championship? And at this point, Arn Anderson, he's already told Cody that he expected him to beat Sonny Kiss in like 6 minutes. That didn't happen. Match went a little longer. I think he's really going to test Cody's fortitude as well as his mental endurance. Cody was full of himself during that last match. It almost bit him in the butt. Sonny Kiss was his best match to date, bar none. So, Tim, what's your thoughts on Cody's TNT title match coming up? Who do you see coming out?
I think the AKA Zack Ryder is going to come out with his title.
Zack Ryder?
Yeah, AKA Zack Ryder with his new company. He has the title over there, so he's going to bring out the title.
Oh, Matt Cardona. Okay. That's a good one, considering that his latest theme is also by the band that does Cody's theme, Downstate, and we still don't know the status of the former Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins among the wrestling industry. So you do bring up a very interesting idea, and we know that Cody and Zack, they do have tremendous history and a friendship. I like that. Which leads me now to you, Shane Wells. You are always very analytical, and you do try and look at long-term booking like Tony Khan. Give me your thoughts on who you think might challenge Cody next for the title. And I want to also get your perspective on this. It was a person constantly scouting. He started in this match. What is Tully Blanchard planning here? Is Tully Blanchard planning maybe for Shawn Spears to challenge Cody for the title at, I don't know, All Out?
I don't think Blanchard is there for Shawn Spears to – I think Blanchard's scouting Cody. I think Blanchard and Arn have already decided they're doing a stable. I think that's already happening. And I'm pretty positive that Cody it's totally scouting Cody. That's what I think. Now, in terms of who is going to come out, man, I mean, I think Warhorse is going to happen at All Out. I don't think Warhorse is going to happen. I mean, maybe he'll happen a lot. I would be shocked if Warhorse happened this week because they said it, right? They said Warhorse is coming out, and they're pretty good about surprising us. But, if Warhorse came out, I wouldn't be shocked. Who I'd like to see, Eli Drake. I would love to see Eli Drake, man.
Yeah. Now you're talking my language.
That would be fantastic, and it would be surprising, and it would be another NWA talent getting some work during this tough time. So that's kind of what I think. Now, who's going to come out though? This is what's really cool about the TNT Championship, and this is what's really cool about a TV title in general. You defend it every time you're on TV. That's awesome. And you never know who's going to come out, who's going to challenge. And the reason why you never know who's going to challenge is because it's not based on ranking at all.
Right.
It can't be based on ranking because
it's literally opportunity. Period.
Yeah. You're going to siphon through the whole roster. And the whole design of it is to highlight and showcase a new talent. And when Cody finally drops that TNT title, it's going to make a guy. It's going to make that person. So, I genuinely think I'm saying it's going to be Eli Drake. I think Eli Drake's coming out. But, shout out to Tim. That Zack Ryder guess could be pretty accurate. I mean, that's one of Cody's very close friends. The guy's not working. I would be shocked if Cody didn't employ him. Why not? He's a big name. He needs work, and he's your friend. I'm not one of those people that is against AEW employing their friends. I do it in my professional life. Like, why can't somebody else do it in their professional life? Why would I judge? Why would I judge that?
Well, this is the world that we live in, and these are the hands we're given. Shout out to the and people can be just that stereotypical, it seems. Well, that being said, you all brought very compelling plots, but you took the one I was figured about straight away because I want to see Eli Drake in AEW. And I know Mark McGriff Reviews, leader, founder, creator, our boss man. Shout out to you, good sir. I hope you and Ashley are doing well. Look forward to you on Spark again soon. There's no doubt he would love to see Eli Drake in AEW, but we'll have to wait and see. Tomorrow, though, we know we got at least one surprise coming. Will it be Warhorse? Will one of us be right? Will it be, once again, completely unexpected, out of nowhere? Does it go beyond Ring of Honor, the NWA, the WWE, NJPW? Does it go beyond somewhere that we've never even heard of? We're just going to have to wait and see. With that being said, I don't see the title changing hands. I'm just going to say that for now. But again, it's going to be a very interesting surprise. And again, it's a chance to help somebody during these quarantine times, which is what's most important. Opportunity. Speaking of opportunity, the Butcher and the Blade. Boy, have they been capitalizing lately on their momentum or what? As we just saw in Dark once again, they squashed Peter Avalon and Brendan Cutler, but pulled out a bit of a new offense, it seems, to really show we do not take them lightly as they are about to take on the Young Bucks in a Falls Count Anywhere match. That ridiculous powerbomb neckbreaker move on the floor, that goes through the table. Ouch. And that really, this match could play in their favor. Thinking about the Young Bucks right now, they are coming off that 6-man win for the Elite. And right now, they seem to be on a neutral page with FTR, but that eventual Dream Tag match has got to be coming. You think about the FTR already got the best with Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks, clearly they have to get the best of these two here, I feel like, to prove a point to FTR. Or do they? Because again, the philosophy between this rivalry here is whose tag team wrestling is better, which tag team is the best. Can you really call this tag team match tag team wrestling when a gimmick's involved? So does that play in favor potentially towards the heels in this case? Because Butcher and Blade right now, they have all the momentum, I feel like, lately with their matches and showing. And I wonder, really, does this match, if they lose, does it hurt their momentum? Because I really feel like if Butcher and Blade lose here, they have more to lose. Bucks have less to gain. Okay, Bucks is already established. Butcher and Blade, full depth. Their style and presence, to me, feels like this is it has to go in their favor. So with that being said, I feel like Butcher and Blade, they're going to pull off some crazy shit. Again, this form, I'm restricted. That we've probably never seen before. But something in me feels like right now, gold on FTR and Young Bucks rivalry. Young Bucks kind of have to win. But I want to give everyone's thoughts on this. Tim, we got Butcher and Blade versus the Young Bucks. Clearly, Young Bucks versus FTR, this has to be coming. I don't see FTR getting involved in this match. I don't see Lucha Brothers getting in this match. I see a downright dirty fight among the ringside area. Probably some weapons involved too. Tim, what's your thoughts on this match and who you think's winning?
I think the Butcher and the Blade is going to win. I think so, this match. The way they've been stepping up to the, Dark this week, and like they've been getting momentum every week, like getting stronger and stronger as a tag team throughout AEW. I think so. So I think they might have a chance to beat Young Bucks.
Fair enough. And again, every tag team is trying out to prove why they're the best, why they might deserve a tag team title opportunity. Clearly, we know FTR, they definitely have their sights set on that after pissing off one of the champs and drinking with the other. Gee, what does that tell you? With that being said, Shane, your thoughts on this tag team match? What do you expect to see? I don't even know if the Young Bucks, for example, are like 100% healed. You think about, for example, Matt Jackson, who's always had back problems. I don't know if his back's ever going to fully recover, to be honest with you. And you wonder if that will come and play in this match. But give me your thoughts on this match.
Yeah, I'm always excited to see Butcher and the Blade in action. Their work has only gotten better and better and better since they debuted in AEW. I'm always excited to see the Young Bucks in action. They're timeless. I feel like they're timeless now. When you combine that in a no rules type of match, like a Falls Count Anywhere, you are ensuring an epic match full of ups and downs, peaks and valleys. I definitely believe, this is going to be controversial, but I'm going to throw it down. I think Butcher and the Blade are going to go over on this match. And the reason why I do is I think that their Butcher and Blade's newfound friendship with one half of part of the Death Triangle and the Lucha Bros is going to. That's right, 2/3. It's going to come into play, and who knows? We may see the return of Pac as well, and Pac could come in unexpectedly, and that could come into the play too. But then we could bring Kenny Omega into the fold there as well. I mean, anything could happen in this match. It's the Elite versus Butcher and the Blade. It's going to be crazy. Like you said, Matt Jackson's back is going to be a factor. Butcher and the Blade are very similar to FTR in that they're really tag traditionalists, and they're going to work his back, and he's going to be the heater. He's going to take the heat the whole match. Matt Jackson is. Nick will come in on some hot. Well, actually, there won't be any tags. So how is Nick?
No tag. Falls Count Anywhere.
How's Nick going to clean house when Butcher and the Blade are cleaning up his brother Matt? I mean, this is great. Who knows what's going to happen in this match? But I definitely think Butcher and the Blade are going over, and it's going to be some tomfoolery. The Bucks don't mind putting other people over, especially to progress a storyline. And Butcher and the Blade going over will only progress this storyline. And the alliance between Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Bros, it's really cool. I really like it, and I don't know why. I don't know why I like it.
One team has zero fear. One team delivers full depth. It sounds like a match made in a dark version of Petting. With that being said, I would definitely not call this Death Square. But anyway, Dr. Brad, what's your thoughts on this tag match? And in theory, if Butcher and Blade do win, what do you see next for them?
Well, listening to the discussion, there's been a lot of really, really valid points brought up. I always kind of feel like the Butcher and the Blade are kind of the unsung heroes of the tag division as of late. They've been really, really impressive in the ring. They've really grown as a tag team. Just the chemistry between the guys in the ring is great. The way they work with other teams is just improving by miles and leaps and bounds. I think prior to this conversation, I would have probably just told you guys that I think the Bucks are going to go over. But you think about the amount of screen time that the Butcher and the Blade have had lately, even in matches where they're just kind of ringside, they always seem to kind of go and put eyes on them. The camera goes to them to see what they're doing, that they're just watching all these matches. I think that not only do they have the most to gain from this match, they also have the most to lose from this match. It's all about momentum with this team. And I think that at the end of the day, they're going to need this victory. And when they do get this victory, it's going to solidify them even more as one of the top tag teams. And they're going to have even more reason to want to go after those tag titles from Omega and Hangman.
Yeah, fair enough. And we all know how this match was brought on, literally, when the Young Bucks helped FTR get their truck back post-match, I might add, after FTR beat the Lucha Brothers. And I know he wants revenge for that. But literally, they super kicked Hardy to 2, gave the key back to FTR. FTR got their truck back, and next thing you know, this match was made official. So we'll have to wait and see what sort of craziness ensues here. But yeah, I definitely am in favor of Butcher and Blade going over in this match as well. And it's a gimmick. I mean, truth be told, Young Bucks do no strange gimmicks, but I feel like we really haven't seen a lot of gimmick-based type wrestling from Butcher and Blade. So it's going to be a very interesting showing. We'll have to wait and see, though, what the outcome and aftermath will be. Okay, so moving on from there, forget about the Elite, forget about, the tag team picture scene. Let's talk about one half of the tag team champions, because right now you're just wondering, he's there right now, okay? He's not really involved in this bubble because he's just doing cowboy shit. This match going to be that? I don't know. Maybe the Dark Order will finally prove, again, why they have been number one and why they deserve a tag team title match against the champ. This might be the first step towards it, as Hangman Adam Page takes on number 5 in the newly signed member to the Dark Order. I totally forgot his name because now he's number 5, so who cares?
Join the Dark Order.
Anyway, he takes on number 5 with Mr. Brody Lee. But number 5, y'all know, former independent wrestler, sport for wrestling folks. That's the heart of all of this, especially at AEWDARK. He joined the Dark Order courtesy of Mr. Brody, the Exalted One, making people extraordinary, really changing this guy's styles. Alan Angels, for those of you that do want to know his former identity. He's been in the ring with Kenny Omega. He's been in the ring with other independent talent. He's been in the ring with Ray Phoenix. He's gone from a high flyer to a much more methodical, slower, mat-based technical wrestler. You wonder if that will stick here, especially with Mr. Brody Lee watching on. Because in the end, Mr. Brody Lee, he expects this guy to win or they'll be held to pay. But this is Hangman Adam Page, one half the AEW Tag Team Champions, who's literally coming off nothing more but, well, defending his title successfully during Fire Fest, but last week, drinking at the bar with all people FTR. So I feel like FTR, they're going to have a nice watchful eye on this match, not from a bar, but hey, maybe from ringside with their own beverages, with a beverage waiting for Hangman Adam Page. And that's why I believe Hangman Adam Page is going to win here. Number 5, he is just literally filler, and I feel like this is going to be a real test for him. But Mr. Brody Lee is going to once again show why when you join the Dark Order, I expect big things from you or you will get punished. I expect Hangman Adam Page to friggin' buckshot Larry at number 5's head off and Brody Lee then to powerbomb afterwards. I don't expect a beatdown from the Dark Order and the Elite coming out and FTR and brawl ensuing. I don't expect the Elite right now to face Dark Order this soon. And again, maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to wait and see again, long-term booking. But I believe Hangman Adam Page is going over here. And the thing, he's gotten the wins more so for his team during this tag team championship reign. And by the way, the tag team champions, they are 10-0 this year. Yet to lose. With that being said, Tim, your thoughts on this match. What do you expect maybe Mr. Brody Lee's influence will be on this match? Do you see him maybe helping number 5 trying to win? Or most so, is he just out there scouting? Because for those that watch BTE, Mr. Brody Lee would like to see Cowboy Shit part of the Dark Order. Give me your thoughts on this match and Mr. Brody Lee's agenda.
I think for me, I don't think it's gonna help number 5 because the way when number 10 on that match, yeah, he didn't have against Cody. He didn't have number 10. I think he's gonna just sit back until the end of the match and maybe get involved at the end of the match. Not get involved in the match. He's gonna let 5 be an independent wrestler and fight on his own. See how he can prove to be a Dark Order member of the Dark Order. So.
Oh, very analysis.
All
right. Dr. Brad, we see that Mr. Brody Lee, he is on literally a recruitment mission, okay? He recruited on a J. For all we know, he probably recruited Kukabuna, and he recruited number 5 last. Who knows what other independent talent he might recruit next? He's trying to fill numbers 1 through 10 if he hasn't already. But give me your thoughts more so on Heyman Adam Page, current state of mind, okay? All he's been doing lately is drinking since successfully defending his titles, okay? He's not even concerned probably what's going on with Kenny Omega. He's just concerned that he still has that belt. I feel like right now that's his top motivator. That's his top agenda. Do you see Dr. Brad, Adam Page sweating, FTR and all, sober or drunk? Yeah, take a drink for that.
Well, seeing as how I'm in an Adam Page kind of mood tonight, if I were Hangman Adam Page, I just think Hangman's just been playing it really cool lately. He's just hanging back, no pun intended. He's just going out there doing his thing. He knows what his capabilities are. He's cool. He's confident. When he's not in the ring, he's just hanging back, having a drink. And we see that when he goes out there, he backs up everything he says every night that he's there. So, do we see any problems where Adam Page's alcohol intake is affecting him? I don't really see it. It looks like either he's doing it in moderation or he's got some pretty good tolerance. But back to Brody Lee. In terms of how he's going to be in this match, I think there's going to be a lot of coaching from his part. And if Page just starts destroying, we're going to see Brody lose his mind and just start yelling and just degrading number 5 and just humiliate him. And it's probably going to be hilarious to watch.
I'm probably whacking a chair against the ring post like he did previously when he was escorting number 10, Preston, to the ring. And in the end, Preston won. I don't see, again, number 5 winning this. Shane, so we got him and Adam Page. I'm sure FTR, they're going to be watching on. You wonder if him and Adam Page is out here to prove a point to FTR, or is this just another day at the office, go buy a drink and celebration afterwards? Give me your thoughts on this match, and what do you see maybe afterwards? You see FTR and him and Page just getting at the bar like, good match, yes, good match. And, just respecting each other.
Here's what I see.
Yeah, open a cold.
right there. So
by the way, Adam Page is not a licensed bartender, for those that don't know. You really should pay attention to these graphics. I don't know if
I know he's not insured or bonded, that's for sure, but I'd let him pour me a few. I'll tell you this. He's winning. There's no question. Come on. He's not going to lose. That's ridiculous. That would be some Vince Russo booking if he lost,
I'll drink to that, Shane.
Yeah. He's not going to lose. There's no way. And he's going to hang on. I got to follow the Dr. suit.
Yep.
So he's going to definitely win. Buckshot lariat, no question. Brody Lee freaks out afterwards, and they beat his ass.
Yeah, the underlying story right now.
Not Hangman's ass. They beat number 5's ass.
Yeah, like I said, he's going to powerbomb the hell out of him. Okay, make an example, or maybe use another number to make an example, like he did once before on AEW Dark. For those that watch AEW Dark,
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. He's number 5's done. Number 5's taking down.
Is filler towards a bigger picture and a bigger goal. We still need to figure out what stands with the Dark Order and Mr. Brody Lee as well. All right, BTE.
I want to hear a remix. I want to hear the remix of Colt Cabana's music for Dark Order. I want to hear it go doom doom, Colt Cabana, doom doom. That's what I want. That's what I want right there.
It's gonna happen eventually one day.
Yeah, I'm hoping, man. Colt Cabana join Dark Order, please.
Well, that's his choice, but as we move on, I'm just going to say it one more time. I will never join the Dark Order. Never!
Join Dark Order.
Never!
I've already joined, man. When it came out, I went online and submitted my application.
God.
They never got back to me.
God almighty. Come on, man. Not even JR would do that.
They never got back to me, man. They never did. But I want to join.
I'd also like to add in advice from the doctor that seeing as we're talking about Hangman and some of us are drinking here, that 1 alcoholic beverage a day, or sometime for women, 2 for men, it can have some health benefits like reduced blood pressure. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. That's your doctorly advice for the day.
You know what? Then I must be in epic shape, man, because I'm killing about 6 silver bullets a day.
And that was a public service announcement. Yeah, this farm's turning into its own version of BTE. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, moving on from there before we just send into any more madness, let's move away from in-ring action and focus more on in-ring development, because we got a couple of inactions here, but we also got a couple of people that are going to be on TV to say something. One of them, of course, will be Taz. got a lot of explaining to do, or maybe not, because I'm sure he and Cage talked about the aftermath of their match and the fact that Taz did not want Cage to come out and rip the head off Darby Allin. And now there's more to it than meets the eye, and it looks like Taz had a bigger plan all along. For those who've been watching Dark, Taz has really been, comic beverages, I blame both of you. Taz has really been endorsing absolute Ricky Starks as one of his favorites. And on this week's episode of Dark, spoiler alert for those that haven't watched Dark, I suggest you do. Sorry, but skip ahead. Anyway, spoiler and brawl, 3, 2, 1, no buzzer, because this is way more viable than Dolph Ziggler. Sorry, I said it. Anyway, Starks now seems to be in favor of Taz, not only as a friend, but as an ally. As we saw at the end of Dark, Darby Allin defeating Robert Anthony, a good match. Robert Anthony showed a lot of aggression. The Machine, he came out to try and exact revenge, break Darby Allin in half. Before he could do more, there wasn't somebody coming out for his aid. There was somebody coming out to help. Ricky Starks. Are we seeing the formation of a new tag team? What? In the Machine, Brian Cage, who might I add, is still the FTW champion, because apparently that does matter. And Ricky Starks, all that by Taz. What's the bigger picture here? And if so, who the hell is Darby Allin going to find as an ally against these two? Then again, this is the crazy guy that literally will tag himself in a handicap match against the Inner Circle in the match of the night, main event, even in a losing effort after Jon Moxley got destroyed. Y'all remember that Dynamite, I'm sure. With that being said, Shane, give me your thoughts on what you expect Taz to talk about. I imagine he's first going to talk about Brian Cage's resilience, but his concern for the man's health because he may be a machine, but still, machines can break too. And what do you see him maybe discussing about Ricky Starks? What's on Taz's mind?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I totally believe Taz is going to address throwing in the towel. Like, he's going to address it. It's being heavily criticized. 50% of fans are like, oh, I love it. 50% of fans are like, oh, it's trash. The main event was trash because of it. Taz is going to address it. And Taz is also going to announce the formation of his new stable with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, a business relationship. I don't think they're a tag team because the tag team division is flooded, but I do believe that it'll be more of a. If anybody here can remember Bobby the Brain Heenan's stable, the Heenan family, it'll be more similar and akin to that. It'll be. I think Taz is building his own version of the Heenan family, and it's starting with those two because Taz needs something to do anyway. And I could easily see Starks and Cage. And what a great pairing, Starks, cool and fast, technical, Cage, big and strong, powerful. Perfect. Oh, my God. Perfect stable pairing.
Something like that. You literally summed it up.
Starks and Cage. You can literally S&C Starks and Cage, like that's, or Cage and Starks. Like you can. It's really easy. If the tag division wasn't already so teeming at the brim with talent, you could throw them in there, and I think they'd be a phenomenal tag team. But I don't think that's where it's going. I think it's going to be two single stars and Starks and Cage, and I think they're just going to be a stable, man.
I think that's fair analysis, but also keep in mind, Natural Nightmares, they're pretty much on hold because QT get well soon. He might be at risk for COVID. And of course, TH2, they're still stuck in Mexico, so we have to wait and see when they're able to come back, while Tony Khan is still taking care of them while they're still out there too. So if you go to those two spots, why not a team like this? Plus, we have yet to see Sonny Kiss and George Janela really involved in tag team action as well. So It adds another sub area, I feel like, to the tag team division, like a mid-range to the tag team division in itself. I kind of look forward to seeing what might develop. But with that being said, thinking beyond tag team wrestling, okay? Brian Cage, he's the FTW champion after Brad. And Ricky Starks doesn't have a title, but he definitely impresses and definitely can be a champion, being a former NWA World Television champion and taking on Cody for the TNT championship. Now, I don't know whether or not Taz is trying to build Ricky going back towards that, or maybe investing in Ricky to go after the world champion eventually in Jon Moxley to soften him up for the Machine, who I feel like he wants to eventually be that champion. And then you figure about Darby Allin, who's back in play, and the FTW title and what it symbolizes. I can see the FTW title being between Darby Allin or Brian Cage as a specials match at AEW All Out. And it would not surprise me based on the events on Dark, Darby Allin, he comes out, has something to say, or let actions, rather than brains, speak for him. And then all hell breaks loose. me your thoughts on what you expect to see from the Taz segment, and what do you think about Ricky Starks and Taz as an alliance?
Well, I think that like Shane had mentioned, we're definitely going to get the addressing of the throwing in the towel, and you also have to consider the fact that Brian Cage and Taz both made statements on Twitter, so I think that those statements are also going to be addressed tomorrow night by Taz.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing Ricky Starks come out to assist Taz in taking out Darby Allin, not something I completely expected. And, I don't see them as a tag team. I think the tag team division of AEW is fully loaded right now. But here's what I do think that we could potentially see is you take, and I love Shane's description of this. You've got Ricky Starks, who is, he's more your technical wrestler. He's quick, he's fast. Brian Cage, he's big, he's powerful. You got two different styles of people. You build a stable of variety talent, and you allow these talent to basically come in, watch each other's matches, and learn from one another and build a dominant force. It's almost kind of like, almost similar kind of to what almost WWE teased several years ago, where Paul Heyman was managing Brock Lesnar and CM Punk, and then was almost trying to bring Ryback in. It was almost kind of like that sort of idea. But I think that this time, I think they're going to go all in, because you got one guy who's completely dominant, who just looks like, he could just tear anybody apart limb from limb. You got another guy who's just hot off the press in the company. And it's going to be about building these talents so that they can get future opportunities at those respective championship belts, the AEW title for Brian Cage and the TNT title for Ricky Starks.
Well, I've already seen Ricky Starks take on Cody for it. So, but again, with Taz's influence, the result might be different. But I like that. All right, Sam, so I'm going to swerve this to you a little bit. So we're all thinking about Taz. We're going to talk about the throwing in the towel. I want you to give me your thoughts on that finish from that title match, and what sort of like closure to this do you see from this statement? Like, how does Taz represent throwing in the towel as a way to protect the machine? And give me your thoughts on that angle. Do you approve of it, or did you want to see something different come out at the end of that championship match? Talk to me.
It's just crazy how it's basically surrendering yourself to like a champion, because Moxley is a beast champion, but like the way Darby Allin comes out, like he's a beast with skateboarding, And I think like also like if you ever see Darby Allin as a partner, I can see Tessa Blanchard coming out, If she beat Brian Cage with the Impact title, so making her debut in AEW definitely. If you see it, Darby Allin.
I'm not sure if Tessa Blanchard and Taz can handle each other. That's an explosion waiting to happen. But I like that, the way you said surrendering yourself, because in a way it is. Because, again, you don't see this a lot in pro sport or professional wrestling, maybe in boxing once in a while when your guys are getting the bloody hell beat out of them. I mean, we've seen it in movies, for example. The last time I remember truly seeing someone throw in the towel, it was Mustache Mountain, when literally his boy, Trent Seven, was being destroyed by Undisputed Era, dissecting the legs. And again, the methodical process, breaking down the machine by John Moxley during that championship match, constantly working down the man's arm while Jerry was on commentary, ironically, applying Fujiwara armbar, this type of armbar, a Kimura at one point, literally breaking down the man's arm right in front of Taz's face. Do you figure Taz was doing that to protect his investment, or did he have doubts that the machine, this was not his night, despite all the hype that was put into it? Though Cage, I'm sure if we were listening to it more vocally, Cage probably didn't even want that to happen at all, because he was doing everything he could to try and get out of it, though we knew he couldn't. He refused to relent, refused to quit, refused to let his body quit, refused to verbally say it. So it makes you wonder for TV time, for Taz's, I would say, anxiety attack. Would that match have actually continued even longer than expected, would Brian Cage be a one-armed man? We already seen it bandaged. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I have a feeling that come tomorrow, we're going to see Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, and Taz by the end of it, all as one. He's going to have something to say about what he believes Ricky Starks is, why Brian Cage is still the toughest, still a bitch on the planet, being an FTW champion. Probably going to heavily endorse him for that too, and his performance in the championship match. And then we're probably going to get Jon Moxley coming out, Darby Allin coming out, beat down in suit, and we're going to try and set up some sort of match. Now, whether or not it's going to be a triple threat with Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, and Brian Cage, or whether or not it's going to be Brian Cage versus Darby Allin for the FTW title in some crazy match, just maybe a standard one-on-one match. I don't know what sort of title match the FTW title could really stand for outside hardcore, since Taz built that back in W. And then, of course, we got to think about Jon Moxley, who defeated the Machine emphatically. Can't get a bigger win than literally the guy supporting your challenger throwing in the towel, I feel like. I guess he could try and go for a pinfall victory. You wonder what's next for Jon Moxley. Well, I think I got an idea, and he's in action, and we'll see if he has something to say afterwards. Let's go ahead and talk about Mr. 99, because he wanted to be courteous if he was an AEW video game. God, I can't wait for that. We're all going to play that and kick each other's ass. I'm kidding, I'm calling it now. Anyway, we're going off the rails. MJF with Wardlow returns to in-ring action this week, and who knows what the hell that guy's going to say after his obvious win, I feel like, because he's better than you, and you know it. Currently 7-0, by the way, still unpinned, still unsubmitted, still technically in singles, undefeated. We keep talking about it. He's the guy to lead this company. He's the guy to be the next champion. Whether he has the true TNT championship, hopefully not with a Burberry scarf leather, or the next true AEW World Championship, and could this stuff happen at AEW All Out? If this is not setting up MJF for Jon Moxley at AEW All Out, I'll be a monkey's freaking uncle. With that being said, and considering Wardlow and MJF, I don't know how much longer their business partnership can hold up with these miscommunications. Now on both men's parts, so I guess now they would have to be on mutual ground, you would think. Tim, give me your thoughts on MJF as a heel, as a wrestler, and what do you see next for the man that's better than you and you know it, starting tomorrow?
Yeah, if MJF and Will can be, we'll just dress as first, then I don't know what's gonna happen because MJF, one of them's gonna turn heel. Definitely, they're gonna split up. Will's gonna split up with MJF, definitely. And MJF will probably go after the TNT title. I don't think he deserves the AEW title yet.
Interesting. You think he only deserves the TNT title versus the AEW title, considering the fact he did beat Cody in AEW Revolution. But you wonder would he only settle for that for now? I like that. That's even longer term booking and makes me really think about what can be done with Jon Moxley. But that being said, Shane, you said Wardlow and MJF maybe go on separate ways before All Out. I don't know about you, but for example, if MJF is set up for the World Championship match, he might literally go out there and do it on his own, have Wardlow just go to the back. And really that might set up a sign of things to come because if MJF doesn't need Wardlow and he kicks it to the curb, that breaks Wardlow out as a single star. But can Wardlow be a face? That's a whole nother question. But give me your thoughts on what you think MJF's future might soon decide to be as soon as after tomorrow.
Hang on 1 second. There we go. All right. So, MJF and Wardlow's disintegration will continue to progress this week. We're going to see it in some capacity. Now, with that being said, if we're going to see MJF and Wardlow's disintegration this week, then I think we might see a loss or close to one this week. So it's, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm remembering the card wrong, but it's MJF and Wardlow versus Jurassic Express, right?
No, this week it's just MJF with Wardlow in action. He was referring to the fact that during the Spider Fest, Jurassic Express beat Wardlow and MJF.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? And that I got. I thought Tim knew the card better than me. That's why. That's like,
all good. I got y'all covered. Trust me, I got y'all covered.
Okay, so good. I also believe that the rivalry. I think the rivalry between MJF and Jungle Boy will progress this week. The rivalry between Wardlow and Luchasaurus might rev back up, even though they've already had a match. But I know that MJF and Jungle Boy will progress this week, and I do know that the disintegration of MJF and Wardlow will continue to progress this week. Now, there's probably not going to be a match. We're going to get a classic MJF promo, but it's going to progress. It's going to progress. If we do get a match this week, it should be an MJF squash, I think, just so we can be reminded of how great he is. In MJF's promo, he will bring up the fact that Wardlow lost the match. He will. There's no way he won't.
Maybe give a subtle nod and just, keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, there's no way he won't, right? There's no way he won't bring up the fact that Wardlow had these shoulders pinned. So, that's my take on it. I'm always happy to see MJF. I feel like AEW's marketed him as a special attraction, and to MJF's credit, he has marketed himself as a special attraction. So, and he's very meticulous with how he's used and how he isn't used, and he adheres to kayfabe in a way that just makes him a man after my own heart. I hate MJF, and I hate him because I'm supposed to hate him, and I want to see him get his ass kicked. And he works that character, right? So I'm happy to see him, man, and I'm happy to see this progress. And you said it was you that said, I don't know if Wardlow can be a babyface. I do, man. I think Wardlow could be a white meat babyface, or he could be a Goldberg-style babyface almost. The guy's a big monster, and he's in the shadow of this little coward that runs his mouth. Come on, man. How can you not make that guy a babyface? To me, he's got babyface written all over him, but not your standard Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or Sting babyface, like a badass babyface, and I think that he could easily do it, and I'm excited to see him get there. In fact, I'm excited to see the rivalry between Wardlow and MJF when all this is said and done.
Yeah, I feel like that's gotta be a sign of things to come. And also MJF versus Jungle Boy, I can see that being a feud for the TNT title with how great those two have chemistry in the ring. But again, it's the TNT title, MJF's future. We don't know what his set's going to be. We just know from his last promo, he said that he will be back on his throne. I just hope he's not back in that weird hot pink attire.
So for me, since you said MJF versus Jungle Boy, I'm just going to throw this thing in there. I think MJF and Jungle Boy are what I call forever dance partners, like similar to Rock and Austin or Ric Flair and Sting. I think they're forever dance partners. And I say the same thing about Darby and Sammy. I think Darby and Sammy are also forever dance partners. Those pairs of guys, man, big money on those guys for the next 10, 20 years, I think. That's
clearly the future of the wrestling business. And Sammy, I hope again you may return once everything is cool, clear, said and done mentally, if more than anything else. With that being said, Dr. Brad, give me your thoughts on what you expect to keep your receipt from MJF this week. Do you believe that he's going to set his sights towards the TNT title or the AEW title, or is this just going to be more so a reminder of why he's better than us? Stay tuned.
Well, the promo for Dynamite just says MJF with Wardlow in action, and and Shane, I think, really hit the nail on the head, because when it says in action, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be in a match. I think we're going to get a promo, and I think that MJF is going to he's going to address the loss that they took a couple weeks ago in the tag match they had with Jurassic Express. Now, one thing that could happen is we got a match coming up that night with Jurassic Express going up against Jake Hager, Chris Jericho. I'm thinking that one of two things could happen there. I think MJF could in some way cost Jurassic Express the match, or when the match is all said and done, especially if they take the loss, MJF and Wardlow, they come out and they start just dismantling the Jurassic Express at the end of the match. In terms of what belt he could be going after, the Team All Elite chat and Shane and I, we've had this conversation. So where I'm about to go with this. A lot of guys I've heard say, oh, yeah, he should be taking the title off Moxley. which is very much a potential. But and Shane's also, I think one of the guys on the page, Ryan, also gave his idea of a booking to kind of put him up to take the title off Moxley. I do think that MJF is going to be a future champion. He will hold the TNT title. He will hold the AEW title at some point. I think he will capture the TNT belt first to have a good run with it before he goes after the AEW title. If he does go after the AEW title first, my prediction is that could be his first loss, because if you think about it, John Moxley's been up against so many guys. Like, he's been up against he took the title off Jericho. He was against some pretty big guys like Jake Hager, Brody Lee, now Brian Cage. And what more to solidify his reign as champion than to get the first loss on what some people believe is the top heel in the company.
Yeah, and I see what you're talking about too. And again, John Moxley, 13-0, yet to lose a singles match this year. And again, outside his title matches, he's been a who's who in the ring, including Frankie Kazarian, who I feel like some people thought was a sleeper match. That was also very impressive too. But as you were talking about the idea of Jurassic Express still being on Wardlow and MJF's sites, let's go ahead and talk about their tag match, because Jesus, how did we not talk about this last week? Last week, let's hop on. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God, freaking hell. The Demon. Really? Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle, they got juiced by Orange Cassidy. Literally. And Ortiz apparently still can't swim. Not even for Orange Juice in the middle of the ring. But anyway, last week, Jericho, he basically talked about, again, how this is a war in his eyes. What about that? Once again, they claimed the demo, the key demographic. I am now the demo god and one of the best we've ever had. You all think Orange Cassidy deserves a rematch? Not going to happen. And next week, Orange Cassidy comes out. He basically tells them, get out of my arena, you piece of. And literally, Orange Cassidy, a man of no words, but so much action in one fun movement. Thumbs up, not fully up. And then down, and next thing you know, he's like, okay, just doing that. What are you going to do? Wash! And apparently Chris Jericho gets doused. Loses, oh man, a $7,000 jacket that gets completely damaged. I like it, though. I think it looks better at creamsicle versus white. And literally Jericho, he is furious by this and is on commentary with good old JR and OJ. Yeah, pretty funny. They're talking about all this. Excalibur plays the replay 3 times. JR didn't authorize that as far as we know. And basically says there will be a rematch. So, folks, stay tuned. Brother Brad, you asked for it. You're getting it. We're going to get freaking Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, too. I have to imagine it's going to be at all out, because that is a match I have to see again. Because now Orange Cassidy made it personal, apparently. But apparently, Chris Jericho has other sets now, as he and Hager, and I'm sure probably in total with the Inner Circle, they take on the duo of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy after Marco stunt. He laughed about how Chris Jericho got juiced. And Chris Jericho thoroughly enjoyed Kenny Omega's destruction of Marco stunt during and after that tag match. So now, what's going on? Le Demo God, leader of the Inner Circle, he wants vengeance, he wants redemption against Jurassic Express as a whole, or at least 2/3 of them. Pretty sure Marco Stunt will be out in their corner, though. I'm not going to be surprised if he gets involved. So we got Jericho and Hager versus Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. So I'm thinking about the fact that MJF and Wardlow won vengeance against Jurassic Express. Does Chris Jericho and Hager, they get some momentum back from Inner Circle? Does Orange Cassidy still play mind games with Jericho? Does Inner Circle lose again? And this time Jericho involved in a match, loses, but maybe not directly involved in the fall. Hager, of course, coming just back from suspension. There's a lot of things to think about here with this tag match, I think, and also Proud and Powerful. Are they going to be effective? Are they going to be part of the loss too? I don't know. With that being said, Tim, your thoughts on this tag match? Who do you see winning?
I think with the Jurassic Express, because Orange Cassidy is going to go more orange juice, because I think Chris Jericho has a weak immune system, so he needs vitamin C to boost up his immune system so he don't get sick from the COVID-19. So.
Well, so okay, so you see Orange Cassidy helping Jericho's immune system, but not helping him in the match. All right, that's fair play. I also wonder if Orange Cassidy's going to be on commentary, giving us the best commentary ever, but we'll have to wait and see. With that being said, Shane, your thoughts on this tag match? What the hell is going to happen here?
Yeah, this is another one of those, it's AEW. You never know what can happen. I genuinely believe that they're going over. Like the inner circle's going over. They're not going to lose this match. That's not happening. But how are they going to go over? Right? Like how does Jurassic Express lose? Like how is that going to happen? And how's that going to progress anything? I know for sure that the storyline between Jericho and Orange Cassidy, it's going to progress in some capacity. Now, if they do lose by some remote imagination, it's going to be because of Orange Cassidy. He's going to get involved. But you know what I would love? Here's what I would love, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen at all. I would love it if Orange Cassidy just showed up and stood there and Jericho took a loss because Orange Cassidy showed up and stood there. Like that, I would laugh so hard that I'd probably piss myself. Because Jericho getting mad at Orange Cassidy's existence is it's life to me. It's everything. Like the guy just stands there and sits there, and Jericho just gets more mad and more mad and more mad, and he doesn't even move an eyebrow. And it's fantastic. So I think the inner circle is winning no matter what. But if they do lose, it's because Orange Cassidy breathed in the vicinity of the area.
Yeah, I was just saying that Orange Cassidy was just going to come out the same way he did before for the bleachers with orange juice and just drink a glass while Jericho was watching and drive Jericho insane. But you or I could be right. Either one of those would make me laugh my ass off. But that being said, Dr. Campbell, you're an Orange Cassidy fan. How does Orange Cassidy get involved in this match in any capacity for your way of booking? But even if he doesn't, how do you see this match going down? Because I don't know about you, but Hager causing a dinosaur to go to sleep, I know that they went extinct, but it wasn't because of Hager. I don't know if Hager can actually do that. If anyone's going to yell here on Jurassic Express, it's going to be Jungle Boy. But give me your thoughts on this match and Orange Cassidy's presence, possibly. It gives the people what they want.
So, in all seriousness, we talk about mind games, and I think that that's what we're going to see. Jericho is known for going on commentary, and he's great at it. My thought process is you book the match with Jericho and Hager taking on Jurassic Express. What if you have the best friends in the crowd, just like you had Santana and Ortiz in the crowd when Jericho and Orange Cassidy faced off against each other? Then at some point during the match, maybe you have Orange Cassidy's music go off, and he just walks out, and he just goes and sits in the commentary booth with, Shivani Excalibur and good old JR, and he just sits there, and just being there in Jericho's seat, it's just enough to piss Jericho off and cause a distraction. Maybe not the match, but it causes him to lose his mind in the middle of the match, which we know is going to be hilarious.
Whenever Jericho loses his mind, it's must-see TV. I'm just going to say that right now because he just goes to another zone of insanity. I freaking love it. But, yeah. I'm
starting to think he hates Orange Cassidy more than Pineapple Pete, and we all know that. Pineapple Pete! I hate that guy!
Oh, God. Pineapple Pete and Orange Cassidy. That's just a tag team waiting to happen at this point. It's got to be. Good Lord Almighty. Okay, well, bottom line is this. We all think the Inner Circle is going to win here. Some of us think Orange Juice is going to be involved. Some of us think Orange Cassidy is going to be involved in a commentary capacity or an audience capacity. But the bottom line is this. This is only going to have one thing going towards it, if nothing else, and that's Orange Cassidy versus Jericho. Jurassic Express and the continuing feud with MJF and Wardlow, that would just be a bonus. But again, AEW, they don't tend to overkill things unless it's this is at the end of the night and we get an all-out brawl, which is about 50% of the Dynamite episode. But again, as to further storylines and rivalries, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure what will close the show. And while I don't believe this will close the show, I do believe right now the women's division, it has a lot going for it as far as really making your mind wonder what's to come next. Hikaru Shida said, by the way, her English, astounding. Well done. She wants people to step up. And with 2 of her top contenders injured in Dr. Britt Baker, AMD, and Chris Statlander, now she has to look at the ones that are there, including, but not limited to, Big Swole, Penelope Ford, and Nyla Rose. You figure about, she wants me to step up. Who will come from the outside, maybe challenge the champ? Names like Thunder Rosa have been mentioned. Don Bowley challenged me on Sippin' Chan last week. Shout out to, freshly squeezed himself as part of AEW Primetime. Please follow his page if you want wrestling talk. He thought about, think about the women that were involved in the AEW All Out Casino Battle Royale last year that aren't signed. Well, we're getting one of them literally in a match tomorrow night on Dynamite, and you wonder, is this her moment? As she was picked up somewhere else, but never used, and let go. It is Eva Lise, a near 20-year veteran of the game, and she definitely impressed me since Lucha Underground, versus LAX's own Diamante. And Diamante, of course, coming off a win with an impressive cold red out nowhere on AEWDARK against Kylan King. Very impressive match. These two are going to face each other. Clearly the winner of this, they're going to garner some attention from the champion and some momentum. Now, before we talk about the other big impact, no pun intended, in this women's division, let's just focus on this match. Both these women definitely are out here to prove a point, definitely need a win. Diamante finally got her first win on Dark because she's been more so involved on Dark than anything else and only lost. Finally got her first win against Kylan King tonight. And then we have Eva Lise, who we haven't seen since AEW Casino Battle Royale. This is her AEW in-ring debut. You got one with 10 years, you got one with 20 years. You got Eva Lise, who I'm sure is going to have a lot to prove here. And honestly, I would love to see AEW sign her. She was one of my picks. Well, her and Teal Piper, but that's another story. Maybe Shazza McKenzie, too, just saying. And I really wonder, could we be on the verge of meeting Eva Lise versus Hikaru Shida? Could Diamante prove why she deserves to go out to the champion? Who else can really surprise us and break out in this AEW women's division or become a part of it? And we also know there's a creature of darkness lurking in the wings in Abaddon. Yes. With that being said, let's think about this match. Let's think about the outcome for both. Who needs to win more here? Dane, your thoughts on Diamante versus Eva Lise. Who are you rooting for to win?
Well, I'm a big fan of both. I love Diamante and Eva Lise is, as you said, 20-year veteran. Wouldn't it be crazy if Diamante joined the Inner Circle, but not that crazy? Her
powerful in LAX with Conan, so not entirely crazy.
Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy? I think she's gonna go over personally. That's what I think. Well, actually, you know what? Let me dial that back. Diamante went over decisively today on Dark. If she wouldn't have went over decisively on Dark, I would say she's definitely gonna go over tomorrow. But she went over pretty decisively today. So I'll dial it back.
I mean, Kylan King brought the fight, actually. It was pretty even, I thought, and Kylan King was definitely more powerful of the two.
She had the match mainly all the way around. But, Eva Lise is a 20-year veteran. They're probably going to debut her strong. So I'm going to say Eva Lise is going to go over. But I wouldn't be shocked if we got a little segment with Diamante and Proud and Powerful. I wouldn't be shocked there because they have history. So why not? Why not give us that? I want to see it. Why not?
Yeah, fair enough. Tim, give me your thoughts on this match. Diamante, of course, her name, as we learned, it means diamond. She's basically, the diamond of the women's division in a way. And I feel that she has, again, really this could be her biggest match to date under AEW. What's your thoughts on this match?
I think Diamante could go strong in Impact when she was with the women's division, when the title over there.
Right.
Team division over there. I think she could go strong here. Since Big Swole's out for suspension and stuff right now. So yeah, so I think Diamante is in the way to step up right now for to have a good match to throw.
So you both believe so far that Diamante might go over the one with near double experience. Now, I will say this, as of course I follow independent wrestling to a degree and women's wrestling as well, in wrestling. I feel like I should make that shirt, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to try and market everything. Anyway, Eva Lise, Diamante, Dr. Brad, they are no strangers to each other. They have faced each other in singles accounts before on the independent scene. In title match wrestling, as I look over my notes here, ladies' night out during title match wrestling, they've been in tag team bouts as well on opposite sides. These two know each other very well. I expect it to be a very competitive women's bout. But again, I look at Eva Lise. she's untested in AEW since we see about Royale. Diamante, she is coming off a singles win on Dark. But you wonder, is this the time of release? Might be all elite. Diamante might be all elite. Could both these women impress to become all elite at this point? What's your thoughts on this match, and who do you see maybe getting the W?
I'm playing it safe, going with the veteran and Evil East. I think that I think she's going to take it come tomorrow. And it was a great match that Diamante had, and I was really a big fan of the match that she had today with was it Kylan
Kylan King from Aewspark, Ohio. She's a crazy lady.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that match. That was actually one of my favorites on Dark tonight.
That was one of my top four.
Yeah, and I think that I think those two are going to really put on a great show tomorrow, which, you know, the thing is, I've talked a lot about the women's division in the past for AEW and how when the company started, it was one of the weaker points, and it's gotten better. But now that we've got some of these top stars on the shelf, it's time for some others to come in and step up. And I think that no matter what, both these individuals are going to really showcase what they can do. And Shane brings up an interesting point about Proud and Powerful coming in to make an offer. I had another thought, just kind of going off the fact that you only had I can't think of her name right now, Anna Jay. Yeah. We've not seen her, and we haven't seen too many female wrestlers approach. But what if the Dark Order came and approached one of them after the match tomorrow? I mean, we've only got one female that's been potentially Anna Jay after she lost her match to Abaddon. You know, Nyla Rose on BTE just flat out refused their offer. What if they came in and approached one of these individuals after the match is over tomorrow?
Going Dark Order.
Yeah. You know, we've not had too many female talent approached. It's just something to consider and think about.
Well, again, we keep thinking about the Dark Order and Roy Lee. He is still constantly recruiting, as we've seen on BTE, and he's already been upset with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson with their recruitment efforts. I guess one Hangman Page and what else. BTE is so hilarious. It's amazing how much of this stuff really falls in line with what you can see on AEW Dynamite. So we'll have to wait and see. But speaking of stuff that can fall on AEW Dynamite, all this AEW restricted. Think about what the wrestlers say when they think about people that really influence them, be a positive encouragement. And, you know, they think about, like, you know, they've seen here in AEW in a capacity because, good freaking Lord Almighty, Dr. Brad, I sort of hate you for being right. Let's go ahead and go into our open forum discussion and start with this. Excuse me! Damn it! Oh, my God. Nyla Rose's manager was revealed last week. Vicky Guerrero, with 15 years of pro wrestling experience, channeling her inner Guerrero, in her promo literally talking about how she's tired of the women's division lying to themselves. They are not smart enough to cheat their way to the top. And Nyla Rose is here to steal everything for the win. And then she laughed maniacally. Good Lord help us all. What the hell can we expect? And it would not surprise me if we could around Nyla Rose set a presence somehow, audience or backstage-wise in an interview, during this women's match or somewhere up towards it. So with that being said, I'm going to start with Tim on this one. Tim, your thoughts on the union now of Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. What do you see Vicky Guerrero doing for Nyla Rose as her manager?
I think Vicky Guerrero she's gonna be like a bit like disqualifying, get rid of all the like powerful moves. Remember she did in WWE, and she had been different moves. I think she's gonna be in to Nyla Rose's opponent, so she get hurt and stuff. Yeah.
Set Nyla Rose up for, like, you know, open challenge type opponents, or set Nyla Rose up for a match that showcase her dominance in a way, but then basically illustrate what Taz been doing with Brian Cage. Okay, I can kind of see that. With that being said, Shane, we know how dominant Nyla Rose can be in the ring. She's not the strongest promo. Clearly, Vicky Guerrero is going to be her mouthpiece. And again, Vicky Guerrero, she is also someone that is an incredible strategist, whether we want to like it or not. Give me your thoughts on your expectations from Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose. What's their move?
It's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a female version of, for lack of a better comparison, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. It's fantastic. I definitely foresee Nyla Rose getting the women's title again, and hopefully Vicky Guerrero will crap all over that women's title they have and debut a new one fit for Nyla Rose. Sheeta's title reign has been fantastic, but I don't see where there's longevity in it. I love Sheeta. I'm a massive fan of Sheeta. Her English has gotten way better already. It's amazing, but she doesn't exactly ooze charisma. You don't look at Sheeta and see a Becky Lynch or a Trish Stratus. You don't see a big star there. I love Sheeta, and I'm personally a fan of Sheeta. But if I put my business hat on and my promoter's hat on, and I think about what a big star type of charisma, you know who I think has that big star type of charisma from a babyface perspective? Big Swole. I think Big Swole is hilarious. Big Swole cuts a great promo and is a fantastic worker in the ring, and she just oozes charisma. She walks into a room, she owns it. Speaking of eternal dance partners, going back to what I was saying earlier, Big Swole's dance partner is Britt Baker. Period. That's her. That's like a Rock Austin right here. It's like a Rock Austin right here in AEW with the women. Big Swole and Britt Baker. So eventually, we got to move towards Sheeta losing the title. Ideally, I'd like to see Sheeta lose the title to Nyla Rose. Give Nyla Rose a good run. Get it on Big Swole, and then let's start doing some title pass back and forth between Big Swole and Britt Baker. But I definitely foresee a bright future with Vicky Guerrero. I could even see Vicky Guerrero utilizing her managerial capabilities to get Nyla Rose fighting men, because Nyla Rose is very big, and I would love to see Nyla Rose fighting for male titles. Why can't Nyla Rose be a world champion? She's the size of most of the men. She's as threatening, and she has a great manager. Why can't Nyla Rose face, aside from gender bias, I don't see why Nyla Rose can't face men, like personally, aside from gender bias. That might be too forward, and I know that's controversial, but where does Nyla Rose go? She can't Andre the Giant the women's world title. She can't do that. So where does she go, right? And how does Vicky get her there? I think it's going to be very interesting. I know I just long-term booked a lot of stuff, but I mean, yeah, I definitely think Vicky's going to lead to Nyla getting another women's world title reign. But eventually, we got to get that bad boy on Big Swole or Britt Baker, somebody with that big star appeal. Not that Sheeta doesn't have it, I just don't see it right now. Big star appeal.
Yeah, but if Shayna Baszler could do it WWE, why can't Big Swole? Right? Why can't?
I don't disagree. You have a very valid point. If Shayna Baszler can be a viable long-term champion in WWE, why can't Sheeta do it? So I mean, that again, my opinion could completely change, right? As time grows. That's just the way I see it right now.
Well, I like the way you figure about a champion, how they're supposed to really be presentable, but also connect with the fans. If you come across Sheeta, she does, in my opinion, she really does bring a positive personality, and she brings it to the ring. She shows a lot more of her character, though, for her YouTube channel. The gamer, connects with the fans, the yoga.
Agreed, yeah.
I feel like that title actually is a great fit for her, but I do wish it was a new title. And maybe this Joshi Pro inspired by Kenny Omega, but I feel like this title just feels like a giant belt.
Well, listen, for me as a fan, Sheeta is the ideal champion, right? Because I'm a hardcore fan. I'm going to watch no matter what. But when you think about AEW and what AEW needs to do as a new promotion, they need to attract new eyeballs. And the question that you have to ask is, does Sheeta have the personality to attract a new eyeball? And when I think of a champion right now, a world champion, not the TNT title. For me, the TNT title is the title for the hardcore fans. That's for us. That's the bell-to-bell one.
I call it the wrestling belt, period.
That's the wrestling belt, right? The best wrestler has that belt. Same thing as like the 1994 Intercontinental title in WWF, right? That's the wrestling belt. But the world titles, like the world tag titles, the AEW world title, and the women's world title, for me, those are who grab a new fan. Like you see that person, you think, wow, that's That's a relatable character. It's a relatable personality. They're grabbing me, and now I gotta keep the clicker here. I gotta keep the clicker there and watch it.
Right.
You come in as when you think about it from a new fan's perspective, which I try to stay in touch with my inner new fan. When you think about it from a new fan's perspective, you think, okay, who's going to grab my attention? Like, whoever grabs my attention is who grabs it temporarily, but I'm going to stay for good wrestling. It's just like WCW in '98. You'd get a big personality that would grab your attention, but you'd stay for the cruiserweight division. You'd stay for that because that was a car crash waiting to happen. So that's my only thing with Sheeta. Now, can Sheeta? I agree with you. On her YouTube channel, she's got a lot of personality. Can she?
Net with fans too, because again, you figure about the Westernized audience. Not many people even know what Joshi Pro is. And again,
that's right.
The division is heavily influenced by Kenny Omega, who is a fan of it. But Kenny Omega, Hikaru Shida would not be all elite. We never would even know who she was unless you watched.
That's right. That's right.
Fuji in a 20-minute classic.
I think in five. I think in 5-6 years, maybe less. I think in about 2 years, Sheeta will be oozing that kind of personality you need for a headline champion. But in the interim, I think a Big Swole or Britt Baker, that should be your champion. That should be the person you're getting eyes with. I mean, Britt gets over and she doesn't even stand. She's sitting down. and she's getting over sitting down. That's crazy to me.
The word that Tony Schiavone and Kenny Omega have put into her character is absolutely amazing. But speaking of the Dr. Brad, he brought a very lot of compelling points when it comes to the presence and the connection to the fans as champion. We have a champion in the women's division, Hikaru Shida. When I think about the champions of AEW, I honestly see her being the last one to lose her belt out of the blue right now. Hey, Cody, Kenny Omega, and John Moxley. But I think about what he said about the women's division and the Rockets with Big Swole, suspended, and Dr. Britt Baker, who's injured. But she will be back it all out. Clearly, the first step I feel like towards the AEW women's division development is Britt Baker becoming champion. I don't see that happening, though, before the end of the year, unless it's that full year, because the first step is clearly going to be Big Swole versus Britt Baker at all out. That's the way I see it. But give me your thoughts on what you believe as far as Hikaru Shida being the champion to lead this company, maybe in longevity. And if not, when does Britt Baker come into play? Because I believe you're the one that believes that Britt Baker should be the champion or should be the champion, correct?
I'm a huge fan of Britt Baker. My name that I've got displayed here took inspiration from Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I have a soft spot for Britt Baker. I think she's an amazing talent in the ring, and I just love her character. As far as Hikaru Shida goes, she's been a fantastic champion, and if you go back in history, look at wrestling. Sometimes you've got wrestlers that they may not be the absolute greatest on the mic, but you put them in the ring and, they get the job done day in and day out. And that's exactly what Hikaru Shida is doing. Right now, she is a huge driving point to the women's division, AEW. All her matches have been great. I think that and this has been discussed some too, that we haven't had a lot of rematches, hardly any at all in the company. But I think the first rematch we're going to potentially see for any title, it's going to be Nyla Rose potentially going up against Shida. Vicky Guerrero is going to be very, very instrumental in calling out Hikaru Shida and really building up Nyla. And I agree that I think that once Britt Baker is back in action, it's going to be going up against Big Swole and taking her out. And then she'll be the next in line to take the women's title from there.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. And again, I also think about the ones that have been involved because of travel restrictions, how Shane wants that maybe Pac might be back. I know the UK lives that. That's why we haven't seen Bea Priestley or Shauna or Sadie Gibbs back yet either. Okay. So good discussion on that. Let's go ahead and bring it to a different topic. There's a reason I'm wearing this shirt. Are we on the verge for the return of the cleaner? We keep talking about it. One of the two men in the tag team title picture is going to turn on the other. Kenny Omega has been that face guy, that conflict resolution guy, the cooler head must prevail guy for the Elite since day one. Period. You wonder if last week, though, he's tired of being that, especially after what happened with FTR, and maybe figured Marco Stunt was taking him lightly, because at one point he was too, and then Marco Stunt nearly got the best of him during that match. And then we saw Kenny Omega unleash, literally shades of the cleaner, with the post-match maniacal face and Marco Stunt. Now Marco Stunt's like, what the hell, man? I thought you were cool. Now you're just a bitch. So it makes me wonder, as we look at the approach of the one-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite, is Kenny Omega finally turning heel? Is AEW about to get cleaned up? Does AEW need a cleaner? Tim, give me your thoughts on this. Do you believe Kenny Omega should turn heel? And what do you see coming from it?
I think Adam Page is going to turn heel, and lead the group. Not Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is going to stay with the Elite. I think so. Adam Page is probably going to lead the group, join the FTI, and become the full husband in the making.
That's fair. Also, that's also another fair analysis. As again, we talked about Tully Blanchard. He literally is just scouting, it seems, throughout the night. You wonder who he's scouting for, wonder who he's looking on at. Again, it just sounds too perfect to me that Heyman, Adam Page, FTR, and potentially Shawn Spears can form a full horseman led by Tully Blanchard. But then again, I think about Cody, who put up the four horsemen. He's got himself, he's got Arn. Who could be the other two in that? Are both men trying to form a faction here? Are we getting another field of faction warfare, NJPW influences? Just saying. Dr. Brad, give me your thoughts, though, on Kenny Omega as far as maybe going heel. Do you think AEW needs that?
I'm right back.
Welcome back.
I absolutely do. Because all eyes were on Chris Jericho for the longest time, and he was the inaugural champion. Right now, like I said earlier, the top heel for in many people's eyes is
Continue.
Huh?
I was just saying there's a lot of background noise because Tim's phone was picking up you. There's a lot of background noise, so I was just because I usually like my mic's temp, Shay mic's temp. I'm just gonna mute Tim's mic so we're all muted. So only you're talking, only your noise picked up. Sorry about that again. Folks.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Brad.
Okay, thanks.
Background noise.
like I was saying, I think that in a lot of people's eyes that MJF is the top heel in many people's eyes now, considering that MJF is also still very young. He's as great as he is. He's developing. He's growing. We need to have another top dominant heel to be the guy that's going to take the title off Jon Moxley. And I can't think of anybody better than Kenny Omega. In fact, for those who follow the Team All Elite Facebook page, I did a live stream yesterday and I talked about Jon Moxley and his title run and what could be next. And, with there being a fresh palette, I do think eventually that the person that's going to end his run, it's going to be Kenny Omega. You go online and there's a lot of discussion about how year 2 of AEW is going to have a huge push for a Kenny Omega singles run. And I think that the cleaner's coming back. And I think not only is he going to show what he can really do in the ring on his own, but pun intended, I think he's going to clean house. He's going to take that title. And it's only going to elevate the company even further.
Considering that Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley had an unsanctioned lights-out match at AEW Full Gear last year, I could honestly see that maybe going full circle. And if it's just a regular championship match with the cleaner, you absolutely could be right. But I did not think about Kenny Omega becoming the AEW World Champion. With all this talk of MJF and all this talk about the women's division and Kenny Omega's influence on it, the positive character, the cool head guy of the inner circle, you bring a lot of interesting thought. And I like that a lot. All right.
Well, you also have to go back to BTE yesterday, where they the Young Bucks encouraged him to go visit Marco, tending to his wounds after the match, after Kenny just basically cleaned his clock. Yeah. And Kenny says, I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to prove to you that I am the man you think I am. And he just walks out of the room. He just stops for a minute. He just kind of chuckles to himself, and he just goes, fucking pussy.
I mean, we also saw, again, it's interesting when Kenny Omega gives a promo. Is he given as a character, or is this really him? We saw the promo he was talking about when Jon Moxley went over to Japan, and then he had to go get surgery because some disease got in his arm that really follows the rest of your life. Couldn't face it all out. So again, it's like the clear has been teased this whole time while we finally getting it. Only time will tell. All right. Well, that being said, I think we had another wonderful, wild discussion here on AEW Sparks. Before we close for the night, I will give you guys now a few seconds to find more insight on anything you want. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about or disclose or have any last thoughts about Dynamite or anything All Elite Wrestling before we close this forum of Spark for the night?
I'm excited. I got to piggyback off what the doctor just brought up. The earlier you'd said that we hadn't had anybody else throw in the towel, but remember, MJF threw in the towel on Cody. That's why Cody can't face Jericho again.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had any DQs, but we've had 2 towel throw-ins, which is cool. That gives the managers actually have some authority in AEW, which is awesome and refreshing. But where are things gonna go, right? Because I feel like we're really at, like you had mentioned in the beginning, we're kind of at the beginning of the road to All Out, right? So where are things gonna go? I mean, are we gonna get another MJF and Cody for the TNT title at All Out? Are we gonna get what are we gonna get at All Out?
I feel
Who
like
even
the only
knows?
match we know for sure is Breaker versus Big Swole, and that's it.
That's it. Right? I have no idea what the build's going to be. This is why I love AEW. I have been watching pro wrestling and been a part of pro wrestling for 35 years. And AEW is so unpredictable. So unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. You can read the tea leaves all you want, but it's unpredictable. And it's not Russo unpredictable. When I say Russo unpredictable, I mean Crash TV. I mean, let's just go ahead and pull a swerve for the sake of pulling a swerve. Yeah. Everything's building to something. Every little thing matters. And as the doctor mentioned, Kenny Omega's segment in Being the Elite was money. It was money. He called Marco Stunt a pussy. I bet Kenny Omega's next singles match is against Marco. Because Marco's going to have Watch Being the Elite. I think so, man. I think we're going to get a Marco Stunt Kenny Omega match at some point between now and All Out. And Kenny Omega is going to go full balls out and beat the crap out of him. But then afterwards, he's going to try to do another apology. And we're going to get in this cyclical thing until he turns heel. He may turn heel when he wrestles Marco. I don't know. But the guy's going to go heel. We've all kept thinking that Adam Page is going to go heel. But I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think the Kenny Omega is going to go heel. And that's what's going to break up the group. And not Adam Page.
I feel it's about him and Adam Page is unnecessary because honestly, is he heel or is he face? He's just himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's himself. He's himself, and it works. And we get to decide if he's a heel or a face. And he doesn't have to change who he is. We get to decide that. So that's how Adam Page is kind of similar to Steve Austin in a way that, he's just himself, and we decide if he's heel or baby. That's what we get. But at that time, that whole type of character was so ahead of its time that nobody could even really comprehend that, including Steve Austin himself. Hence
it's like you said, you have the WCW of then versus what some people call WCW now. And again, there's a lot of similarities. And as you pointed out, we just stayed 3 weeks. You literally called Tony Khan the Eric Bischoff of today.
He is, but he is. He has a lot in common with Eric. In Tony's own words, there's nobody else I can relate to more than you. And it's true. They both are doing the same thing in a way. I mean, think about this. NXT has been around since 2014.
They're 10 years. They're 10 years old.
They're 10 years old, but before they debuted on on USA, they were around for what? 9 years, right? 9 years.
Well, you got to
Monday.
feel also before it was NXT, it was FCW, because you look at the rise and the fall of FCW.
That's
NXT
right.
into a game show aspect hosted by Matt Striker, and then it turned to the product slowly over the years.
That's right.
To know the day.
But it was an established product, and it had been around for 9 years or so. Same thing with Raw before Nitro came out. Raw had been around for years. like they had been dominating their space and been around for years. And before Raw was Raw, there was a show called Primetime Wrestling, and that was WWF's version of Raw in literally the same time slot on the same channel. So, there's so many parallels between the rise of Nitro and the rise of Dynamite. I'm telling you, I'm throwing the gauntlet down. 4 years from now, AEW will be trouncing NXT so hard in the ratings that WWE may consider moving it. I'm calling the shot right now. 4 years from now, you can mark the date. It's not going to be today or tomorrow or in 2 years. 4 years from now, when AEW and TNT,
2024.
I'm calling the shot, man, because in business, and when I put my promoter's hat on, in business, it takes about 5 years to build an audience around a new live product. Even with new live sports, it takes at least 5 years. Here's a good example. Look at MLS. Look at Major League Soccer. Major League Soccer has been around forever, but they only started developing a good fan base, 10 years ago?
I don't follow sports. I only follow wrestling.
But I'm from a business. I mainly just follow wrestling. But from a business perspective, since I am a business nerd, I'm a pro wrestling nerd and a business nerd. And from a business perspective, it generally takes even with good marketing, it takes 5 to 10 years to establish a foothold in a new audience. There's still many wrestling fans that don't know AEW exists. They don't know it exists. Like, they say stuff to me like this. Oh, I miss hearing JR. Did you know? And I always reply with, did you know you could hear JR every Wednesday? And they go, what? And I go, yes, every Wednesday on Dynamite, you can hear JR. And I'll invite them over to watch it.
Numbers. In all seriousness, no. You got to think about also, there was a period where wrestling fans were turned away from wrestling. So they don't even know that AEW exists. Or probably even what NXT is now, because they probably just remember Matt Striker. The bottom line is this, as we go on a tirade about 83 weeks all night. Eric Bischoff, he likes the way that they do production at AEW and the business strategy so far versus what they did then. And he literally sees AEW as something different, while in the other company, you got two products, one's just red, one's just blue. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about our thoughts on the 83-week special, Eric Bischoff versus Tony Khan, then and now, WCW versus AEW, me and Shane will be happy to give you a one-on-one special form about that. I think
let's do it.
Got time to do that. Stay tuned for more on that. But I think as far as Spark goes, we are done here for the evening. I will conclude with this statement. AEW Dynamite, we have a loaded show tomorrow. The most unpredictable things, I feel like, are the tag team matches. And I feel like starting tomorrow, we're going to start to see who is next to challenge Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Is it MJF? Is it Kenny Omega? Is it some sort of spiel between Brian Cage and Darby Allin? Is it somebody we least expect? And where the hell is Lance Archer? Because Lance Archer has not even been mentioned in this at all. He has history with Jon Moxley, too. Only
the Murder Hawk.
I mean, the roster of AEW is 95 people full when you think about everybody's time, from commentary to coaches to the wrestling to the in-ring talent to the on-ring talent, not counting the independent stars we see now that breaks it over 100. And I'm sure more independent talents are to come. I was surprised to see Bailey's husband, Aaron Swallow, or Beyond whatever, to debut on Dark against Scorpio Sky in an incredible match, okay? AEW keeps bringing you surprises. So stay tuned, folks, and try to become, once again, a fan of professional wrestling. With that being said, I thank my panel here so much. We are just simply 4 fans of AEW, and we thank you all for tuning in and enjoying the discussion. Thank you all again. Tim, this was an absolute pleasure, sir, as always. Is there anything you want to plug or promote, and where can people find you to talk wrestling with you?
What, for pro wrestling?
Yeah, just in general.
I think to get back to the point, like, you know why I think Zack Ryder is going to challenge Cody? Because your boy Kurt Hawkins, the other one, just signed with TNA.
What?
So, yeah.
Oh, up and down.
he made a debut with TNA today, so I think it's definitely gonna be Zack Ryder coming out.
Well, will you know it? I think you literally just hit that nail on the head. And folks, this is my good friend here, Tim Tobin. Please look him up for rest discussions. Have a conversation with him on all things All Elite Wrestling and more. Tim, you're a good-hearted friend, man.
Never follow Sean's page. We want wrestling talk. So
Yep. John Boy's Big Want Wrestling Talk. I definitely look forward to seeing you again on AEW Spark. Dr. Brad, you are spent, sir, and your wheels are just turning. I know you're ready to get yourself another drink and go to bed. So with that being said, is there any other sort of doctor advice that you can give to anybody before we close tonight? And where can people find you to learn more about you, doctor and wrestling fan-wise?
Yeah, and I apologize. Tuesdays being at the store at 6 a.m. to take care of the elderly and the immunocompromised, working a 10-hour day on top of that. Just, it catches up with you eventually. So,
you provide essential services. So there you go. God bless you for that.
Yeah, essential services. So, I mean, as far as advice goes, really, just during this time that we're in this pandemic, just continue to wash your hands, stay safe, practice good social distancing, take care of yourself, get plenty of rest, and just from a more social standpoint, just continue to be good to one another, because right now it's we don't know what's going to happen with all the different states and how they're going to react with some of these cases rising. So reach out to your loved ones, your friends, and those of us in the pro wrestling community. We've got a really tight bond. We check on each other, and those of you who are part of that community watching, just continue to be there for one another. We can live life together, laugh and have fun, but let's just remember that we are family. And as far as where to find me, I am Dr. Brad Campbell, and I've got a really, really beautiful wife, and I'm a rock star. So my life is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So damn proud of it. So if I'm not at the store saving the world, also I got my Batman, tank top to show that I do save the world. I'm on the team. I'm on the Team All Elite Facebook page. I get on the Messenger group. I make posts. I do live streams. I talked to this guy wearing the Nirvana shirt, Shane Wells. We kick it back quite a bit, and you also just find me on Facebook. I love to talk pro wrestling. I love to talk music. I love to talk all kinds of different things. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. And to all those who are watching Spark tonight, I hope you all were entertained by the four of us, and we look forward to doing it again. And I'd like to dedicate tonight's episode to Hangman Adam Page.
Cheers, brother, to the Hangman. I've kicked
I
back four.
imagine where you all are on the breathalyzer scale, but hey, you're indoors, so I'm not gonna.
I've knocked back 4 silver bullets since we started, so we're doing good.
What am I done? I'll ruin this man's liver. With that being said, before Shane, you give your applause, I can say 1, MJF just sent out a tweet 2 hours ago. Ladies and gentlemen, still undefeated. 2, everyone, please send out your best wishes, condolences, and prayers to my good friend Charlotte Lee, part of AEW Primetime. She recently lost a loved one today. Charlotte, my prayers and condolences go out to you and your entire family. Please stay strong. And like good old JR says, people, tomorrow's never guaranteed. So value and treasure those who are with to this day. Shane, with that being said, I always appreciate you. You're a good-hearted man. You bring a lot to the forum to discuss. You and I could talk one-on-one about anything when it comes to wrestling. And
all day.
Brad can talk one-on-one anything about music, it seems. But is there anything you want to plug or promote, and we're going to find you to talk to you about, well, anything.
Yeah, you guys can talk to me about anything on Facebook. Just search my name, Shane Del Wells, or you can go on my Twitter. I'm always on my Twitter at Shane Del Wells 1. And that's about it.
Just to be clear, folks, that's not his number in the Dark Order. That's just because somebody else had Shane Wells. It's a common thing in the internet. As being a techie, I can tell you all right now, heck, I could probably hack your bank account right now if I wanted to. Just kidding.
You probably could.
Join the Dark Order.
My password is join Dark Order.
That won't make you say that. It's not like I'm trying to hack the planet. Hack the planet! I'm just kidding.
My password is join Dark Order, and Noah is actually the SmackDown hacker. He's the SmackDown hacker. I know
I'm not, and again, I will never join the Dark Order. Okay.
Join Dark Order.
Good Lord, y'all crazy. All right, with that being said, I thank you all very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a man and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. So if you want to follow me and talk anything wrestling, look me up on Twitter, AEWDARK, my Twitter page. Follow me on Instagram, Austin916. Give you a simple song to your day, simple thought, positive vibes, and my thoughts in wrestling. Also follow us on the YouTube channel here at youtube.com/user/NoFoster210. I still have to figure out how to make that URL shorter. It's all things wrestling, and shout out to my AEW family on Twitter as well, where you'll find nothing but wrestling. Aewspark Weekly, you can for wrestling discussions, reviews, predictions, takes, as well as a simple chat with you, a calm, positive environment where I answer your questions on anything. And it's just a fun little 7-minute chat. I actually will be doing that live this week on YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have questions, come join the chat, come join the fun, or just tag me on Twitter, #SimplyChat, and I will answer anything. Nothing is off limits. As always, support NoDQ, support All Elite, support wrestling discussion, support Wrestle Joy because they like wrestling, okay, and I like it too. Support pro wrestling and pro wrestling, support wrestling in general, because that's why we're all here. As always, I like to close the part. Your wrestling outlets, both big and small. And let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted, and somewhat sober wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell to know when the video goes live on this channel. Hit the subscribe button. Help me grow this channel. Help me reach out to more of the wrestling community. Shout out to all 161 of you that's been with me on this fun YouTuber creator's journey. I thank you all. It's not late up soon. I hope I encourage you to express your passion. Be yourself. Have fun. Make connections with real, good, positive people. And I'd love to see what you will bring to the wrestling community, too. So, for Dr. Brad Campbell, RMD, for my good friend, Tim Tobin, for all of Team All Elite and the Brothers Discussions Forum and AEW Primetime Predictions League, and for this man right here, the analyst and the veteran, in my opinion, Shane Wells, I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster. I hope you all take care and enjoy life. Tomorrow's there guaranteed. Seriously, treasure your families and enjoy wrestling. There's more of it now than ever. Find what connects you. Reinvent yourself. Reconnect as a fan if you once left it. And until the next video, I just hope you all be elite and have a good night. Gentlemen, good luck to you all on predictions. You're all crazy.
Boom.
I'm pretty sure I'm the only sober one here. I'm going to bed. Take care.